Alright, if y'all can, let me know if we got volume. Hello. Okay. I'm thinking we have volume just based on what little bit I can hear through the computer. Alright, so we get a few people in here. If y'all have any questions, start asking some questions. I'm trying to get everything figured out here. It doesn't look like anybody has left anything on chat here. All right, if anybody is in here watching and can put something in the comments. Okay. Nelson, can you hear me? If you can, let me know if you can hear me, Nelson. Okay, good deal. All right, so it looks like we got 4 people in here right now. How you doing today, Nelson? All right, so anybody got any questions who's in here or want to talk about anything? Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year so far. We have so far. We haven't done a whole lot today, but we're here and the good Lord's blessed us. So hopefully you've had a good year and everybody who's in here has had a good year so far. Hopefully 2024 wasn't too bad for you. All right, so it looks like we're getting several people in here now. If y'all have any questions for me or anything like that, leave them in the comments. Didn't have a heck of a lot to plan to talk about. We got a video going to come out tonight. I kind of made a little video just kind of briefly recapping pretty much a little bit of each video that we've done throughout the year. Maybe 5 seconds to 10 seconds per video, just kind of recapping all the stuff. And for me, it was fun to go through and kind of see the struggles that we dealt with and kind of relive some of the stuff. I don't miss everything, but the drought and stuff was no fun. But Greg's Farms asked, ready for some water and warm weather in a few weeks. Yes, I'm ready to get out of the country for a day or two. I think it's gonna be fun. We're going on a cruise, Farmers Off the Farm cruise here end of the month. Going with Matt and Kelly Griggs and a bunch of other farmers. I'm ready to get out for a week. So says hi. Hello guys. Not sure if I know who any of you guys are, but welcome to the live stream. We have a farm here located in the central part of North Carolina. If anyone has any questions about farming or our farm in general, or anything that we've done this year, 2024, just ask away. All right, Nelson, how do I make you a moderator? Okay. Alright, Nelson, I think I made you a moderator. If you want to go through it. I knew there for a second we jumped up to 29 viewers. I was like, there you go. I really jumped quick. But Matt asked, is the cleared off land ready for the planter? It's getting close. I went back through and reworked it. I guess it was weekend before last, or that week leading up. Went back through and dissed it all as good as I could. I don't have really good land working equipment, so just kind of working with what we've got. I went through and dissed it, and then that kind of showed up a bunch more rocks and roots and whatnot that they didn't get the first time. So then I actually got their root rate thing that goes on the back of the tractor. Ran through all of that again, and pretty much got it about as good as it's going to get for this year anyway, until some of those roots and whatnot kind of rots down. And I was actually going to go through there and plant some wheat on it. But then we got this last rain, so I don't know when we'll get some wheat. I was hoping to plant some wheat or something on it, just kind of act as a little bit of a cover. But anyway, we've got chicken litter spread on it and lime spread on it, or at least the parts that I know that I'm getting. There's some more they're clearing on down the road that may get, may not get. We'll see. If I get it, then no, I haven't even touched it. But anyway, it's getting close. We just need a planter, though. We don't have a planter yet. So, Nelson, you should be a moderator now, I think, if I done it right. You should be able to do whatever it is you need to do. So Kyle Hanks asked, any big plans for the farm for 2025? Well, we need to get a planter, so I guess you could count that as a plan. I guess we need to get a planter. We would love to get a semi truck and either a dump trailer, probably ideally a dump trailer or a hopper bottom. That way we can haul our litter in it, as well as hauling grain to the market. It's pretty costly paying somebody to haul our grain to the market, and I think I could buy the truck and keep it up, and then us haul our own grain and make enough money to keep the truck up, and then we'll still have it for use during, while we're hauling our chicken litter. 30-foot dump bed or dump trailer, we should be able to haul about twice or maybe 2.5 times as much as we can with our dump truck. So, planter and that are kind of my hopes and dreams. Had prices stayed pretty decent in 2024. I had full intentions of buying them. We also need a grain auger. Ours is about shot, so that's kind of some other things that we need to upgrade. But other than that, I mean, just trying to pick up maybe some more ground and survive. I don't know if any of you guys farm, you know how bad the farm economy is right now. It's pretty bad. But anyway, that's kind of the plans for now. We would love to expand at some point, buy some land, build some sheds and bins, but that's looking like it's further and further away. So, Triple W Farms. Ever thought about building poultry houses to expand the farm? Yes, for sure. We've definitely considered it, and right now is not really a great time to build them, just with interest rates being so high. Construction materials still high as can be, and we have been looking for some land locally here to the farm. We've got a few potential prospects in the future. Our problem is everything here is either already developed in a field nobody wants to sell, or if you can buy it, it's too close to other dwellings. In North Carolina, from what I understand, there's a law that you can't build poultry houses. I think it's within 1,500 feet, maybe 1,000 feet of a residential house, or 1,500 feet within like a place where the public gathers, like a church or ball field, things of that nature. The residential house, you can actually get like a contract or whatever signed that stating, that they'll let you move within or build within a certain amount of feet from their house. But from my understanding, that's not the case with like churches and stuff. And I know one place that we had potentially thought about buying in the future for poultry houses. Probably 70% of the land is too close to a church. So it's always a hassle around here. It seems like trying to get anything like that done. But yes, we have thought about that. My wife is actually a poultry science major. She went to college for that. So the overall dream would be to eventually own chicken houses. She kind of take care of them, and then me row crop farm and help her out, and still do my electrical on the side. But that's kind of hopes and dreams future. Um, IP Farms Nelson says, I think 2025 is going to be an epic year. Well, I hope. I mean, I was hoping 2024 was going to be epic, but he's kind of kicked us in the shin a few times between the weather and the prices, and just like everybody else, though. I mean, the whole Southeast has been kicked. Somebody calling me. So, are you from the U.S.? Yes, I'm from the U.S. I'm located in North Carolina. Crop critic. Do you spread any commercial fertilizers on your corn prior to planting, or only litter? So far, all I've ever done, I go in, usually I'll burn down, um, a few weeks or a month ahead of me going in and planting. I'm still kind of, I guess, nervous about planting green, like Griggs and a lot of your people do, and India cover crops. I just makes me nervous. I know it's doable. People do it all the time, but most of the time I'll go in and burn it down, and then right before or right after the planter, I'll come in and I'll spray, and I'll put down 20 25 gallons of what's usually 30% UAN for our nitrogen, and then I just apply my chicken litter. For the most part, most of our soil samples show that we're pretty much good on our other our PNRK. So typically, I haven't been applying a commercial fertilizer. I pretty much just put a bunch of chicken litter to it and hope it's right. As high as commercial fertilizer has been the last few years, I don't hardly see how people's making money, especially only using commercial fertilizer. It's crazy, but so far I've only used chicken litter, and liquid nitrogen, and then went back and top dressed our corn. We have a nutrient come in, top dress it. This year was way too late and right at the drought, so it didn't do any good. But they top dressed it with, I think it was 250 pounds of nitrogen. Really way too late. It was actually right at tasseling, so it really probably hurt us way more than it helped us this year. But anyway, my first year I farmed, which would have been 4 years ago, I think it was now. The first 2 years I used commercial fertilizer for my beans, and then last year was my first year doing corn, and the last 2 years we've just used chicken litter. So, yes, Matt, I saw that Dylan is selling his international. It's a little drive, 10 hours to y'all and then 10 hours home. That would be a pretty rough drive, I would think. But something like that would be perfect for us, I think. The problem here is any truck that's halfway decent is 10 to 20 grand, if not more. And then 15 to 25 for a trailer. So, Kyle Hanks, I feel you, brother. I do electrical work pretty much full time, and then do what little bit of farming I do on the side. Kind of, it's a struggle. I know exactly what you're going through. I do the electrical work, also do some repair jobs here and there, fixing stuff for people. Do electrical work, repair stuff, farming. Let's see, what else do we do? Oh man, we buy and fix stuff up, and sometimes we'll sell stuff. But dealing with the chicken litter, that adds a whole extra layer to our operation. Time we go to the houses, clean them out, haul them all here, takes a lot of time. So I mean, we're only farming 120 to 150 acres if you're counting our hay ground, but what we do farm, takes a long time. we put a lot more extra work into it to make it more cost effective for us. We could buy commercial fertilizer, be more expensive, but we could continue doing our off farm jobs. But I would rather be farming than I had doing my off farm job. So if I can do that and save money, then you know. Yeah. So Matt, I think it is from what somebody was telling me the other day. I guess it was yesterday. I think part of our mountains got flooded again. I guess it was Sunday. Some storms came through, and I think part of I-40 that they had actually fixed actually got washed out again. I don't know that for sure. That's just somebody telling me that, but it's a mess up there. I think when we come to Kentucky, I think we're gonna have to go up Virginia way. I think. Don't know that for sure, but yeah, Nelson probably knows better than I do. Yeah, we do buy plenty of junk. Coleman says we like junk. It's all we can afford most of the time. Eric, I'm kind of leaning towards like a Kinsey, probably a 2 or a 3000. Probably should have went and bought a 2000 I saw here. Let's see, I guess it was a couple months ago down toward our coast. A guy had it. I think he was wanting 15,000 or 14,000. It's a Kinsey 2000, 6 row with the inner splits. So it's 611. I was kind of iffy about a 2000. I've heard a lot of people say 2000s weren't near as good as 3000s, and I've heard some say that it wasn't that big of a difference. But around here, to go from a 2000 to a 3000, you're looking at like $20,000 more. I know I've talked to Matt about, we're kind of the expensive capital of old farm equipment in the world, and they're like, well, it's expensive everywhere, but stuff here is crazy. I mean, I feel confident I could come to Tennessee, where y'all are from, and probably find one at least $5,000 cheaper than they are around here. But probably a 2000 or 3000, something with the inner plant units or whatever you call them. That way we can plant our corn and our beans with it. But open suggestions if any of y'all have any other advice. We looked at John Deere's. I like John Deere, but pretty much from what everything I understood was the 2000 is about the same units as a 7000 John Deere. So I just like the way the inner plant works on the Kinsey better. And you tell me, y'all may have dealt with one, a single frame versus a double frame. Some people around here say that a double frame works better because you got more weight, put it in the ground better. Then I've also heard that other people say that planting around any bit of a curve with a double plant or with a double frame is harder on the planter and can tear stuff up, whereas a single frame is better for that. So at the time I was like, I don't know, and it was 3.5 hour drive to that planter, and but probably should have bought it, but something better will come up, or it won't. There is a 3000 now, but I think they're wanting like 30 grand for it, just a little more than I want to spend at this point. But I know a planter is something that hopefully I'm gonna keep for a long time, and I can kind of throw money at it however I want. I can put as much money in it as I want. I know Eric's planter, I don't even want to know how much it costs, but it's hundreds of thousands probably. But it's got so much technology in it that you can do anything and everything with it, which is amazing. And by the way, Eric, your wheat looks phenomenal for 30-inch. I kind of thought you was a little crazy there at the beginning when I first saw you planting it, because I'd never even heard of anybody even thinking about doing that, but it looks good. I hope it does well for you. All right, we're getting behind. IP Farm says Coleman. Coleman is a nut. Nelson, how's your new combine? Just saw that video yesterday. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you got Scott's combine. Drew Wagner says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Hopefully it's going to be a good year. Not too many mirror options here in North Central Illinois, which we did though. We are looking into getting solid waste out of Chicago that's been ran through a digester and dried down. That sounds gross. Hopefully it works good for you though. We are very blessed to be kind of right here in central territory for broiler houses. There's at least 10 chicken farmers within 10 miles of me. Now, that being said, you know, everybody jumps in trying to get it. Luckily, we've got a couple contracts with a couple that we kind of go in, take the litter out, and then haul it ourselves and everything. So we keep those guys happy. And then I've got another guy that I pretty much can about any time get a few loads if I need it. But to do all that, you know, I've had to buy a dump truck, the skid steer, the dump bucket, the spreader truck. You know, that way I have the ability to go get it and not rely on them. Because if you rely on the chicken farmer, most of the time they're gonna find somebody else. In my experience, anyway, we've went through a few different people that we bought from since I've started tinkering and farming. But very blessed to be able to get a chicken litter. All right. That it is a little crazy expensive. I'm assuming you're talking about planters. 2000 is perfect. Whatever you get, make sure it's a finger pickup. They will plant Skittles. That's what I've also been balancing, Eric, between, you know, like a finger pickup, or I guess is that same type thing as like a meter, the brush meter, that type thing, and then you've got vacuum. I know the last 2 years I've used a neighbor's John Deere 7200 vacuum, and for what it is, I mean, he's not really ever spent much money on upgrading it to make it plant better. It seems to do a pretty daggum good job. I like the vacuum partially. Our 986 I don't think would run it the way the hydraulics are, which is part of the reason we're looking for something more mechanical. That way, any piece of equipment we have that's capable of pulling it would be able to do it. For the most part, it's going to stay on the 4250 just because it's got auto steer now. But that way, if something happens 4250, we can bounce back to the 986 or the 806, what have you. But that's outrageous for a 2000 series. Matt, find me some good deals up there, because I know they're up there. Like, that's cheap for around here. Like, I'm not kidding you. Now, there is a 2000 with split rows I think I found for 12 grand, but it's a 36-inch planter. And I've talked to a couple guys that think that you can't just slide it into a 30. Planters and stuff like that around here are stupid. Anything you can think of in y'all's area, I would say at least add half the price again. It's nuts around here. I know people that go to like Iowa and Illinois, and they'll buy like the 200, 250 bushel gravity wagons. They'll buy them up there for like $500. Bring them back here and sell them for $2,000, $2,500. That's how crazy it is. It makes no sense. I know a buddy of mine, he drove all the way to Iowa to buy an auger. He got the auger for $100, brought it back, and that same auger here would bring $5 grand. Easy. It's just, you know, there they farm with the newest, greatest thing. Here we're still in the ice age. Now there's a lot of people with a lot of nice equipment, but you know there's a lot more of us ice age farmers here than out there for sure. I had a 2600 and regretted trading it ever since. Biggest mistake I made was what was the 2600? Is that the one that picks up and swivels? I think that's what the 2600s were. That may be something newer than I'm thinking. Something like that would be great for us because we do farm some very tight fields. Getting into them, we pretty much take all the little garden patches. I've got multiple fields that are like 1 and 2 acres, but for the most part, those that pick up and turn like that are very, very expensive around here. You buy 3 of those planters here for that price. All right, Matt, find me a couple good ones, and we'll come to West Tennessee and somehow get them home. I mean, that when I saw 15,000, I thought that was a dang good deal because like you don't see that around here. I mean, the Kinsey that I planted my beans with, those guys had just bought it this past year for 35,000. I mean, it's crazy. find me some decent ones out there. My problem is I can't drive 10 hours to check one out and it'd be a pile of junk. But you know, I might be willing to drive that far if you know I knew I was getting something decent and I could get a good price for it. It comments right. You definitely can't buy a 2-row horse-drawn planter for less than $500. It is crazy. I don't understand it. Yeah, IP Farms knows. If none of y'all know IP Farms, Nelson, he bought our combine, our gleaner from us back, I guess it was last year. But he dabbles in buying and selling a bunch of stuff, and he's buying and selling mostly even older stuff than what we're dealing with. But it's just crazy around here. I definitely agree with you, Mike. I like the Kinsey that we got to plant our beans with. We had some issues with it when we first got it. I kind of got the planter from the neighbor. They'd never planted with it. It belonged to another neighbor before us, and he hadn't went through it at all yet. So I kind of went through, put in a bunch of bearings and stuff, and his no-till coulters on it were pretty much worn out from what I've read online. So I was like, you know, if you'll get the parts and everything, I'll basically do the work for it on the planter, just to be able to use the planter for my 45 acres or whatever it was I planted with it. And we put new coulters on it from John Deere, which were 16-inch coulters, which from everything I looked online, that's what it said they were supposed to be. But we went planting with it, and it would not put it in the ground at all. Took the coulters off, planted like top. I don't know what the difference was, but and it would plant with the old coulters on it. So I don't know if maybe that model was only supposed to have a 15-inch coulter, and I don't know. But that's the only issues we had with it the whole time. Very simple planter, very easy to work on. I know we've looked at a couple, I think it's like a John Deere 1760 maybe, where all the units are on the back of the planter, and they're literally like that far between each planter unit, and nightmare to work on. So that's another reason we're probably shooting for a Kinsey, just the ease of working on them. The pusher units really help that, make it a lot easier. Matt says, finger pickup is fantastic for corn. If gone through and calibrated, brush meters are fantastic for beans. Terrible for cotton. We actually have a neighbor, the one that spreads my lime and stuff, they actually have a test station, so that shouldn't be an issue getting that calibrated however often I need to. Traded my 12, 23, 3600 in a few years ago for around 25K. We can find some bigger planters here, cheaper, probably in the price range you're talking about. My problem, I don't have anything to pull a 12-row planter. Half my fields, it wouldn't take but 3 passes with a 12-row planter and you'd be done, even if that. But we saw a pretty decent looking, I think it's a 12-row planter at auction last spring. Went pretty cheap, and I guess I could buy something like that and maybe cut it down. But yeah, I did. Dylan asked him about his planter, and he said he thought about selling it. I just don't know. I guess I could pull a 815, and then I guess with that as well, I guess my auto steer would be close enough to plant that. I think the Starfire satellites are, I think, supposed to be within 4 inches of accuracy. I think. I thought about an 8-row because for around here you can buy an 8-row about the same price as a 6-row. So Coleman says, let's see what Matt and Eric think of the cotton farming going on near us. Yeah, we've got probably, I don't know, there's 60 acres just basically right out my back door. The guys got planted cotton and still haven't picked it yet. Don't know when they're going to pick it, but I'm sure you guys have been done for a while now. Or at least, I know Matt has. And I think Eric's been done for a good while too. Well, I know they are because their cotton gins have been done. I agree, Matt, but I cannot talk the farmers around here. And every single farmer that I have seen around here has them on. And you cannot talk them into taking them off. And I'm talking like very local to me. Riley, the one that I went and rode the Case 8250 with and cut and wheat this spring, or yeah, early summer. He don't run them either, but I don't know. People around here say they will not plant without them. I planted all that I planted with it without it fine, but they say if it gets dry, they will not plant it. I don't know. I'd a whole lot rather have row cleaners myself and take those coaters off. I would say you probably have to replace the openers a little more often, but that's part of it. Matt says take a big planter, make a small planter out of it, and use the extra units you take off and make 2-row horse planters for $500. Well, if you made that nice one, you could probably sell it for more than $500. I've seen where they take like the John Deere 7000s and take those units off, make 2-row planters. And a lot of people pay like $2,000 a piece for them. It's ridiculous. That's what you need to start doing, Nelson. Make you some $2,000 planters out of it. Or I got an idea, Nelson. We'll go in together on a 12-row. I'll take 8 rows, and you take the other 4, and then you have your 4-row planter, no till, and then I'll have 8 rows. That sounds like an idea. Then you can get away from having to till up your ground. That sounds like an idea. We'll just make a trip. You got the truck and the trailer. We'll just go to West Tennessee, and we'll get we'll buy some planter. Matt, be on the lookout. Think the Love Muffin will make it that far? Eric says, whatever planter you find, just figure out what it's going to cost you per acre to own that planter. You need to keep it reasonable. It's not fun to be a farmer right now. Eric, I feel sorry for you, people like you and Matt, that it sucks. I know it hurts me that the prices suck and inputs and everything's high, and I'm not making my living off of it. I'm taking everything that the farm makes, putting it back into the farm to help expand it, and even taking some of my full-time job to do that. But I saw your where you're talking about to Matt the other night on his live stream that he's having to let one of your workers go, and that just sucks. I mean, it really does. That I know the drought hurt y'all pretty bad too. It ain't a good time. It ain't a good time for farmers. I wish they could. Hopefully the government will somehow help y'all out. I know that you don't want to have the government help you out, but hopefully they will. I know y'all have a mess of money in equipment. I'm very blessed and very lucky. You know, I don't owe any money on anything right now, as far as the farm goes. So if I have a bad year or two, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to lose everything I own, and not that I'm sure y'all will probably set up where you won't lose everything, but it's not a fun place to be. I can imagine. I know how stressful it is for my little bit of farm ground, and I just want to be able to expand quicker and quicker and quicker, but a bad year just slows me down, but I know how it can affect y'all. Matt says he's seen the 2-row Deere plot planters go for $2,000. Yeah, they sell that all day long here. I think our John Deere dealership actually sells new ones, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's nuts, but you got that right, Coleman. Yes, sir, she will. That's good. Maybe me and Coleman will have one for too long. We just got to see. Try not to go in debt to buy my stuff, buy my toys, my stuff for the farm. It's not always easy, but for right now, all of our fertilizer in the form of chicken litter is paid for 2025. I haven't paid for my seed yet. That's coming up here pretty quick. I'm sure most of y'all probably already bought yours. Usually I have by now, but it's something. It's something. I have paid for I got to pay for my lime too. I got lime spread on most of my acres this year. That little bill hurt. All right, Matt. See you if you're not already gone. We look forward to it. Look forward to getting away for a couple of days, seeing you guys, and then that'll be at the end of February. We're going to be at the farm show in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'll probably go, unless something happens. I'll probably go. I think it's the 5th through the 7th. I'll probably go that Friday, most likely. You'll be walking around if anybody's there. I don't know if anybody here other than Nelson is from North Carolina. And then, unless something happens, we're going to be in Louisville, Kentucky at the National Farm Machinery Show. I think it's like Valentine's Day week. I think it's like Wednesday through Saturday. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, possibly Friday. But if anybody's there, we'll be with Matt and Kelly. Hopefully meet some of you if any of you is interested in meeting us. Kyle Hanks says he has a 2-row 7,000 planter and had to give $2,000 for it. How does it work, Kyle? I've never been around one. I'm assuming they work pretty good. Does it have enough weight to put it in the ground, or is it considered a no-till where you don't have to till it to the ground? Or your 2-row ME5 with furrow force closing system is over $10K and it's paid for though. My gosh, what do you use a 2-row? What was the purpose of spending $10,000 on one? I'm assuming that's Max Emerge 5. Is that like just replanting, maybe replanting rows instead of having to replant a whole field? That seems very high. Although a good planter is hard to say that any amount of money is too much. Yes, for the most part, Nelson. I mean, it was just doing good. It's not really exactly what I want. It being the steep sides, the gate and the chain are narrower than a normal one. And what I was noticing this fall using it is if you don't watch it and there's a chunk of litter, it'll get hung in the door on one side or the other, and you won't really know it, other than it's not putting out quite as much litter on one side versus the other. I figured out once that happens, I can take my gate in the back. It's electric over hydraulics, got a hydraulic cylinder. I can take that hydraulic cylinder, raise it up real quick, and kick the chunk out, and then it go back to normal. But I don't like that. I've never had that issue with either of the other trucks that I've ever used that have a wider tailgate in the back. But other than that, it done good. Seems to do good. We got to fix the lights on it. This fall, we just used it right here around the house. I wasn't worried about having lights, but seemed to do good. We spread probably, let's see, I'd say we spread at least 60 acres with it this fall. Everything done great. Air conditioning's working. Air brakes work good. Power steering works good. Heat works good. I have something on it was leaking, but we've got it cleaned up, put in the shed for the year. I need to go oil the chain on it, but other than that, it's been good. I'm happy that the chain hasn't broke again. So Kyle Hanks uses his to plant sweet corn, a Deere 7000, and Mike Hosh plants pumpkins as sweet corn. Is there a reason? Is there a reason for spending that much money on a planter? I'm just curious. Like, so Kyle spent $2,000 on his. You spent $10,000 on yours. Like, is there enough of an upgrade between them for that $8,000 difference? I mean, theoretically, I guess, it's the same width and everything. I'm just curious. I'm always the type that I like to take the cheaper option, not the cheapest, but the cheaper option. That way, it don't take as long to pay for something like that. But I'm just curious, is that something that can, is Does it plant better enough to make an $8,000 difference? Pumpkins, it may have to. I don't know. Never planted pumpkins. We do have a neighbor that plants some pumpkins, but yes, all my wheat is out, Nelson. Part of it. I'm trying to think now when we did plant it. I think I got part of it planted right at the end of October, early November. That was the first. Let's see. The weather's been so weird, I can't remember exactly. It was so dry, and then it got wet, and then it got dry, like the whole year's been. But everything is out now. We've got about 40-ish acres. Some of my late wheat is just now starting to come up, so I don't know how well it's going to do. We'll see. I know we got a really cold front coming here in a week or two. Looks like it may be worse up towards Matt and Eric and them, but hopefully it doesn't kill our wheat. Eric says he'd be happy to help me anyway. Okay. If I can help him, if he can help me anyway, let him know. Pull some soil samples. If you're not going in blind, glad to help you anyway. So this past spring, I had soil samples pulled on every acre that I had at that point, which was 70 acres or whatever it was. Since then, I picked up some more acres, and this fall, I had those acres soil sampled. So the last springs are a little bit behind, but I do have a basic, roadmap for everything. We've got lime spread based on all those samples, and some of it needs P and K added. What's your recommendation? Should I follow those charts to a T and have them spread it, or kind of go off what chicken litter I'm adding? That's kind of where I fall in blind. It's like, I can get chicken litter pretty cheap and I can put a bunch of it out. Do I do that for a few years and then see where my P and K levels are? Or do I go ahead and add what my soils need and then just keep it up with chicken litter? It's that's a balance for me. It's like, I spend my money on the chicken litter trying to save money and, get my other nutrients and stuff. But I know you're supposed to spread your P and K and everything else to match what the soil sample says you need, which for the most part, most of my fields aren't terrible, but now I do have a few that need a lot. Those I just put a ton of chicken litter to it, especially on corn. Really? So it's illegal to sell corn, or illegal to bait deer with corn in Illinois? Yes, that is a very big market here in North Carolina. Um, I'm one of several around. I would say I'm one of at least 5 within 10 miles of here that bag and sell corn. And this year, I think we're pushing 6,000 or 8,000 bags that we have sold. I've sold every kernel of grain that I raised, and then I've bought probably 4 truckloads now, my dump truckloads. So we probably bought probably 1,200 to 1,500 bushels. We wouldn't have sold all of ours had we had a good year, but the drought kind of kicked that one in the shin. But yes, corn's a big thing here. If it wouldn't have been for the corn bagging deer corn this year, I'd be hurting right now. I sell individual bags of corn for $8 a bag. I sell my bulk corn in pallets for $7.50 a bag. That's a lot better than I don't even know what corn's at now, $4 a bushel, 3 something. I don't see how people do it on a year like this, especially in a drought year where our early corn we average 70 bushels the acre. 70 bushels an acre at $4 an acre or $4 a bushel. Good gosh, that would be a terrible loss, even with me not having much inputs and much in the way of debt or anything. My overhead's really small compared to somebody like Matt or Eric, who has newer equipment, who have employees, stuff like that. It's y'all have to have a very slim margin on a good year, and then on a bad year, it's just not good. How do you like selling it by the drum, Peyton? We've had one or two people this year. We sold some for the by drum. I was actually going to buy a scale, a 5,000-pound scale, so that we could do things like drums and the 250-gallon totes. I was going to buy the scale, headed there, was almost there, and the guy called me, says he fell off his forklift and it's broke. So we didn't get the scale, but I did sell one guy three 250-gallon totes, and then we sold a guy a couple 50-gallon drums. For the most part, though, if they'll buy it in the bag, I'd rather sell it to them in the bag. I can make more money that way, and I pay my guys really good to bag for me. So, you know, it's a win-win. My family helps me bag, and I pay them really well. And then they're happy to come help me whenever. Next year, hopefully, we're going to have more acreage in corn, and hopefully the weather cooperates. We'll have a good year, I hope. Hopefully better than this year. Our early corn, and when I say early corn, early planted, it was planted sometime in April. I think it's about middle of April. It averaged about 70 overall. Some really good places, some places were terrible. One end of the field would be 8 bushels to the acre, one end would be 200 bushels to the acre. Kills me. But then our later planted corn, I think it was about the middle of May. It's about a month behind. It averaged about 110 bushels. It's kind of the same thing in it. I mean, one end of the field we'd have 50 bushel corn. The other end we'd have 230. I don't know. I had really high hopes this year because my early corn was beautiful. And y'all will see that if you watch the video after this. It was beautiful up until I think it was June when it turned off dry here. And we went basically from June until the middle of July with pretty much no rain. We might have had an inch in there, maybe. But if we would have had the rain, I think we could have had some awesome yields for us. It's not going to be the crop critic yields. I would love to one day get to that point, but that's way on out there. I mean, I do have some friends here in North Carolina that shoot for those yields, and I think it's awesome. I mean, I would love to be able to do it one day, but that's a big jump with our equipment, that is. I'll do that, Eric. Were you going on the cruise, Eric? I've heard one time that you may, and you may not. You may already be gone. Be nice to meet you sometime. I was gonna speak to you at the farm show last year, but you and Matt was talking. I didn't want to interrupt, but I'll definitely get with you. But yes, the wheat looks beautiful from what I've seen of your pictures on Facebook. I'm really shocked at how well it looks. If anybody don't know Eric Reed, Crop Critic, y'all go check him out on Facebook. He's testing some 30-inch wheat, planting it with his corn planter, and on 30-inch rows. And when I first heard about him trying it, I thought it was just kind of crazy, but it looks amazing. It looks like an AI picture almost. The way his rows are just perfect, and the wheat looks perfectly bushy. Looks like the each individual row, like where he planted, it looks like the wheat has bushed out about that much. It's pretty amazing. Yep, IP Farm says the NC deer hunters love their corn. That's for sure. I know. I think you've sold all your corn now, Nelson. It's a blessing. That's for sure, and that's good cash money. Rick says the weather has a strange way of being stubborn. This has been the weirdest year I ever remember, and I feel like we say that every year, but I think it was April. It was really dry. May, really wet. June, through about the middle of July, really dry. And then it turned off a little bit wet there for a little while. And then it got dry again. And then about the time to cut our later corn, Luckily, I got my earlier corn out in time, but the later corn, it got wet and kernel started sprouting. It seemed like it would rain every few days. We had a bunch of kernels sprouting. The later corn was better, but the quality was terrible. Kernel quality was absolutely junk. Uh, but that's another good thing about deer corn. For the most part, the deer hunters don't care if you got a little kernel damage, so we can kind of get rid of it that way. And I've also been selling a lot of my wheat that way. We've sold several pallets of wheat this year. But the weather this year has been something else. I understand not having time to bag it. Uh, I don't know how you normally bag it. We've got a neighbor that has a setup pretty similar to mine. Actually, probably a couple of neighbors that have it. One of them that I know of, but then we have other neighbors that bag it straight out of the back of a dump truck. And I don't know if just from talking to the guy that bags it out of the back of his dump truck, it takes, you know, considerably longer to bag a bag than for me with my setup. If we have 4 guys, even with 3 for the most part, we can bag a pallet, which is 40 bags, in about 8 minutes. I'm thinking the guy that bags it out of the dump truck was telling me like 30 to 40 minutes. But we can really rip. Now, you can't do very many because you get tired, but we've done 10, 12 in a day. In an evening, I would say probably 3 to 4 hours time to do 10, 12 pallets. And a lot of that, we'll bag it in 7, 8 minutes. And then we take our time, take it off, let the pallet wrapper wrap it. If any of y'all watching hadn't ever seen my bagging setup, I've got a video probably 2 or 3 months back where I show that operation that we built. Built most of it by hand, built the hopper and everything. I traded out some work for a neighbor and got a chicken house bin that it'll hold somewhere between 350 and 400 bushels. Auger straight out of that bin into our hopper, and then we have a bagging scale on the hopper that dumps out exactly how much by weight that we want. And then we have a conveyor with foot switches. Either me that's bagging it or the person running the sewing machine. They can push the foot pedal. Excuse me. They can push the foot pedal and make the conveyor advance. So it goes from me, goes to them. They sew it up, and then it goes on down the line. And whoever's down there stacking it can stack it right off a pallet. So I bought the conveyor from I think we got it out of Charlotte, out of like a Dollar General or something they use to move packages with. Paid like $300 for it. I probably got $1,500 in my whole corn bagging setup, but we can really roll. When I first started thinking about the whole corn bagging process, I was like, maybe I can make some type of scale or something, but an automated scale like that automatically dumps exactly how much you need, that's the way to go. You're not cheating a customer, you're not cheating yourself, but you can really roll on that way and be efficient. $45 a drum. I don't remember what we got out of one. I think we just kind of took some bags and dumped in it. I'm thinking we got 50 a drum, but that could be wrong. And that may have been wheat we were selling. I can't remember at this point. I got feed bins up and was selling it as fast as I could put it in the bins. This year I averaged 80 with the drought. Where did you say you were? You said Alabama. Okay. So are you up closer to like where Eric Reed is located, Peyton, or what part of Alabama are you in? I know he, up close to Tennessee, Alabama line, I know they had a really bad drought, which I think for the most part the whole Southeast had a drought. But Nelson's got a roll. Appreciate it, Nelson. Hope everything goes good for you, buddy. We'll need to get together and talk for long. Nelson, hit me up. You want to go to the farm show in Raleigh? Maybe we can go to the farm show together. I don't know if you're going to be able to go to Kentucky, but maybe to Raleigh if you hadn't ever been. I do HVAC full time, so hot weather is my busy time. I farm the ground all by myself, so bagging is just one more work on my plate. Yeah, I feel you on that. I mean, I could definitely stay busy on other things. I enjoy doing the corn. You know, I've got a lot of good customers. Uh, we've got one deer processing place that buys from us, and they've turned into a really good customer. I enjoy it. You know, we kind of get to hang out with uh, all of our family members and stuff like that. It's nice. I really enjoy the time we get to spend doing it. I hate that it's kind of wrapping down for the year now. I appreciate that, Mike. I think I saw you comment that something like that on Matt's live stream last week, or I guess it was last week anyway. I appreciate it. You know, it makes me feel good. Makes me feel good that some people are enjoying it. Uh, uh, but we'll be putting out some more videos. It's probably going to slow down this time of the year. We don't have near as much going on. If we do, it's going to be more like shop work and stuff. I haven't really done a whole lot of videoing in the last couple of weeks. I haven't really been doing a whole lot of farm work, but we'll have some stuff from time to time for sure. Going to try to keep it weekly. It's probably going to be little short videos, far from what I've been doing, but we'll just see how it goes. And hopefully, y'all enjoy the video that's coming up here. I think it goes live at like 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Uh, but hopefully, y'all enjoy it. It's just a little bit of a recap from the whole year, from January 1st, which is when I released my first video, to I think it was last Wednesday when I posted my last video. Just a little bit of a recap from each video, uh, 10, 20, 30 seconds from each video, kind of showing everything throughout the year. It was fun for me to go back and do it, kind of relive it, and relive some of the bad moments as well. Some of my corn was hurting, and it made me want to cry, but it's all in the bin. It's all behind us now. Well, I say it's all in the bin. It's all gone. Somebody's bought it and fed it to the deer now, but it was fun to make. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. It may be a little cut together and pieced together here and there. I've never made a video like that. It's a lot of different videos to piece together. But hopefully it'll bring, if any of you have been with us long enough, hopefully it'll kind of bring you a little bit of stories from the whole year, even if you haven't been with us. If you see something in there that you like, it's in a video that I've posted this past year. Adrian Jenkins says, hello from Humboldt, Tennessee. So I guess you live close to Matt and Kelly. I enjoyed Humboldt. We'll have to come back. 45 minutes north of Bam. Comes out at $7.20 a bushel. That's not bad. $7.20 a bushel. I think I figured with us bagging it ourselves, me paying my guys, not paying me, we're between $1 and $1.05 per bag. I pay my guys really good, and that's including buying the bags and the electricity, which electricity is pretty much negligible. It costs me, if we go buy a bag 5 pallets, it costs like 50 cents in electricity. But okay, so you're one of the owners of Zombie Trail. Okay. Matt took us through the Zombie Trail when we were there. It looked pretty neat. I wish we wasn't 10 hours away. I would love to try it out sometime. But it's a little bit of a hike to Matt and Kelly's from our places. 9.5 or 10 hours, or a $400 flight. Maybe y'all need to open up Zombie Trail down here in North Carolina somewhere. That would be an idea. If there's anybody else got any questions or anything, let me know. If not, we'll probably start wrapping it down here. It looks like we're getting a little bit lower on the viewers now. I'll stay on here as long as y'all want to stay on here. If y'all got questions or anything or want to talk about anything. But my video does go live here in just a couple minutes. Y'all are welcome to check it out. Like I said, hopefully y'all enjoy it. From what I went through it, I've kind of enjoyed it. Wish I could have used some copyrighted music. I try to keep it non-copyrighted, like all my videos. That way we can make a few pennies off the video to make up for my probably 4 hours I spent editing the video today, maybe longer than that. But it just takes time editing these videos. So if I can make a few dollars, it helps, and help keep up all the camera equipment and microphones and everything else. But if any of y'all ever notice the music I use and you don't like any of it, it's all music, I had to pay a little bit for it, but not much. But we can't use like regular music off a radio, or we'll get fined basically, or have to give all of our proceeds that we make from a video to them. God love YouTube. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Jasper, Walker County. Never been to Alabama, I don't think. Maybe one day. I've always heard y'all's roads suck. We're going to, we're leaving out of Galveston, Texas on a cruise here at the end of the month. That'll be the first time I'm going to Texas as well. Kyle asked, how's the skid steer project going? Well, I'm not sure if you saw the last video of the skid steers. So originally I bought a T300. I give, I think, $4,000 for it. Project, pretty decent looking machine. Pretty much complete. The guy had tore it apart thinking that the hydrostatic pump was bad. But he kind of lost interest, or lost, I guess, capabilities. Anyway, so we pulled the motor and the hydrostatic pump out just to verify that that was or was not the issue. Took it apart, everything looked good. We resealed it, put it back together, resealed the motor, got all that ready. Well, when we pushed it into my shop off of his trailer, we noticed that the right track spun. It, turned. Well, my first thought was, okay, that track's fine. The other track, something's wrong with it. But done some research and found that the track motors on the T300s, when there's not hydraulic pressure from the hydraulic pump, what they call charge pressure, when there's not charge pressure, the brakes lock up basically, so your Bobcat won't roll. Well, that one was free spinning when we were pushing it. So something was wrong inside that drive motor. We actually took it apart and it was shot. Ordered a new rebuilt one, got it put on there, was pretty much ready to put the motor and everything back in it. And then if you watched the last video, you saw that accidentally burnt the cab. Had some cardboard burning in a burn barrel. I went inside to take a shower to go to an event we were going to. Come back outside and the Bobcat cab's in flames. It already burned up. Made me sick, but it is what it is. So that's what in the last video we took a trip to Georgia to buy an S250 for the cab. But the machine is really a little better than I hate to part it out. So we were contemplating what to do with it, whether to try to fix it and sell it, and then take that money and try to find another cab, or what. Anyway, I need a cab for a Bobcat T300. If any of you guys know where one's at. But that's kind of the point we're at. We can't really do a whole lot more. I need to get the thing out of my shop, but I need a cab for it too. So made me sick though, because that cab, it wasn't in the best of shape on the interior, but it had all the glass, the door, all that stuff's now busted out and gone. It really stinks. But that's kind of where we're at. If we ever get a cab to put back on it, we're ready to stick it back together and see if it works. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's the status of the skid steer. I haven't worked on it in several months at this point. Adrian asked, did you pick up any acres for this year? So, if y'all remember back, I don't know how long you've been with us. This year we picked up 35 acres just right up the road from the house. New landlord had bought it or got it. That's a long story, but anyway, we got that 35 acres. Well, the property, I think, is 52 acres. Well, this guy's got all the stuff to do the clearing and everything, so he actually cleared the rest of the land off, and we've been working on getting it smoothed up and starting to get ready fit for that. So we've gained that land. Other than that, no, nothing yet. I would love to gain some more. I would love to get up to 200 to 300 acre range, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year. If we have another year or two of these bad yields and bad prices, I would say we have a very good chance of gaining some land. But honestly, with the state of our commodity prices and input prices, I don't know how much land I want to gain this year. I would love to farm it all, but the more you have, the more risky it is. So, and if we pick up too many more acres, we're probably gonna need some nicer equipment. Just bought an E35. Did you buy a new one, or was it used? Or I would love to buy a little mini excavator. Those things are so handy. We actually borrowed one probably a month ago now, and we put some more tiles in on several of our road entrances to the farm and to my house and everything. We rented, I think it was a Bobcat 331. It's an older unit, but it was handy. Uh, I should have got some of that stuff on video, but I had it for like 2 days, and we were trying to rush to get it in, and moving camera equipment around takes forever. It just eats your time up. So I didn't get any of that on video, but it would have been a good video probably. But anyway, mini excavators are awesome. I'd love to have one day. But we've got plenty of other stuff that we need before then. So hopefully it does well for you, and hopefully it can make you some money. I'm guessing in Illinois, y'all probably have to deal with some pretty deep, what do you call it, frost, where your ground freezes so deep. Like around here, our ground will never freeze. If it does, it's like, an inch or two deep. So I can't imagine dealing with what y'all deal with as far as the cold weather and frozen ground. Like today or yesterday morning, it was in the 60s. And then we're going to have like a really cold spell come here in a couple weeks, and it's going to freeze us out. But, well, if no one else has many more questions, I'm going to call this video, or this live, call this live stream to an end, or whatever you want to say. Appreciate everybody that's been here. 4 foot below the freeze line. We have to be 18 inches, I think, on most of our stuff. But they don't ever get like that. Never. But appreciate everybody that's been here through 2024. Anybody who's helped me, all you guys who've supported the channel, been here to watch it, give us likes, comments, and then subscribed. I appreciate it. If y'all will, give us a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to us. It really helps the channels out, helps the algorithm or whatnot. If you want to go pick you up some Routh Farms merch, head over to farmmerchbin.com. They got the hats. This is a different shirt. We had some work shirts made. That way I can get them nasty. But they have shirts, hoodies. I just got me a new hoodie. They got koozies, mugs, water bottles. Not sure where mine is, but I need it. But anything, if you guys want anything, even if you don't want something of mine, they've got Matt Griggs Farms LLC, Eric Reed, Crop Critic, Chronicles of Kayla. They got all them people. And if you just want to get something done for yourself, Allison is the lady's name. She does a phenomenal job. She'll hook you up with hats and shirts or whatever you want. She does everything at a reasonable price, and she makes everything right there in West Tennessee, close to the Griggses actually. So y'all go check them out. But if nobody else has any questions, we're going to call it. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Y'all enjoy the video if you have time to watch it. Let me know what you think. And y'all have a good one. Have a good new year, and we'll see you next time.